Hi, everyone. This is Ali Hussein Kasim of Ali Talks Tech. Today, I have an interesting guest that I have wanted to have on this podcast. My good friend, Kamal
Thank you.
Budhabhatti. Kamal is the co-founder and group CEO. But I think you have a new title now. I saw your new title on LinkedIn. So you'll tell us a little bit about that. But Kamal, I think I want to flash back a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you remember this, but you and I met, you and your chief operating officer, I forget the guy's name, in your early days. The office that is now ABSA's headquarters next to
yes, Office Park.
Safaricom, Office Park.
Office Park, yeah.
Small office. Today you have a full campus.
That was a big office at that time.
How many years ago was that? I think it was more than 20.
Yeah,
I can
20, 17, 18 years. Yeah.
Great. So Kamal, who is Kamal? What's Craft Silicon? What are you up to? Let's talk about that.
So, that office, Ali, was, we moved from house to that office. So for us, that office was like, before even we moved to that office, I was like asking myself, will we be able to afford
The
to
rent.
pay that rent? And they were charging in US dollars.
What?
Yeah, and I think the properties, even in a country, they continue still charging in dollars. So they were charging in dollars, and I used to calculate I had to calculate like for 3 months and prepare myself mentally. So now, so I'm a techie by nature, and I still do programming even as of now. I have people who run the business for me, but I still continue programming, and yeah, that's what I am. I'm still a programmer.
So the programming, tell me about how the programming languages have evolved over the years that Craft Silicon started to today, which is it's a group. You have offices in India. You have quite a number of presence in a number of African countries. How has that evolved?
So the first programming language that I started with, and I think this rolls back to India. In India, the best of the best lot gets into medicine. Then the second lot gets into engineering.
Okay.
And then everyone else gets into BSc, that's Bachelor of Science, physics, chemistry.
Okay.
And for us, because there are so many, we always end up doing programming in the side.
Okay.
So that if we don't get a job somewhere else in a domain, then we get into the computer field. So that's how I learned my programming.
So you did...
I did physics.
Physics.
Yeah, I did physics, yeah.
Physics, and then you are doing engineing on the
No,
side.
no. Programming in the side.
Programming. So
in
what
the
languages?
evening.
Yes.
So I started with C, obviously, C++, and and I think that's where I clicked out. And I was not so good in my studies.
Okay.
My parents were always worried about me, but the programming clicked out, and it's clicked out so well that I just fell in love. Yeah.
Okay, so fast forward to your time now in Kenya and starting Craft. How's that journey been?
So I came here looking for a job. So I had a friend in Kenya who invited me. I came here. I worked for a couple of months there.
Okay. You worked for someone?
I worked for someone for about 7-8 months.
Coding?
It was. I came in with an expectation that I'll be doing some programming.
Okay.
But the job was not so much of a programming. It was more of a data entry. So then, I didn't really like that job because I felt I was coming to Kenya to do some programming and to change the world maybe. And so that job was not so interesting. And where I used to stay next to my house was an IT manager for a bank.
Okay.
His bank was looking for a system.
And
then one evening when we were just talking around, I still remember I was, some of these memories are so stuck in your head. So I still remember.
They're vivid.
Yeah, very clear. I also remember what I was wearing, what he was wearing, all that. And we were just talking. He says, my bank is looking for a product, and the banking systems are so expensive. We are a small bank, we can't afford. I said, yeah, I can do it for you. And yeah, so I went, and I think always I had gone to all these customers with the mindset that I already have a product.
Yes.
So now I went there, I say, yeah, I have a product, I can do ABCD for you. He says, okay, come and present the product. So you very quickly, in 2-3 days, you would prepare some wireframes here, there, present it to them. And yeah, and then you commit before you have the product.
And then you get it done.
And you get it done. So you say a lot of future truth and then get it done. And
so today you are a company in how many countries?
So today, I think then over the period of years, Craft Silicon grew tremendously. Yes. And I think we were at the right place, right time, with the right support from our customers. So from that customer, we got into some very interesting customers like Equity, Jami Bora, which is Kingdom Bank now, CDN, which used to be a Careb Bank.
Yes.
So they supported us pretty well. And then from there, because we used to do a lot of DFID projects, like KREP was funded by DFIDs. And then because the product was so good, they liked it, it served the purpose. They also got in some, some of the other partners.
Okay.
So from there, we started expanding across the continent.
Okay.
We also got the same similar opportunity in India. So we had customers, microfinance, and
so this was after how many years?
So Craft Silicon, I think the real business started coming in around 2010.
After how many years? I think this is really important for entrepreneurs to appreciate and understand.
The hard work went on and on for like 10 years.
10 years.
10 years. You just keep running around everywhere, trying to
looking for salary every day.
Yeah.
You need to meet salary.
Anytime I go and say, customer would ask you, so how much are you going to charge me? I say, okay, my monthly expense, because I have 4 people, is so much. At least if I can charge them for 5 months of my salary, I'm okay. So I would just multiply and give them that price.
So that's how you operated in the first few. Wow.
And then when it grew, I think then Craft, I think, grew up pretty well.
Yes.
Then I still used to program, so I always needed somebody else to run the business. So I was able to cultivate the right talent around me.
So you've always programmed?
Always.
You've always coded?
And I would
up to now?
Up to now, I do programming, yeah.
And you leave the boring stuff of running the business.
That times I would yeah. So I leave. I mean, I'm not a sales guy.
Yes.
I can do a presentation in a pretty well fashion, and I can present the point. But opening the doors, if you take me to a social gathering, I would be in that corner and with lost guy, clueless. Yeah. So that's not my expertise.
So fast forward to today. India operations, then little. I mean, from core banking, fintech, when did you wake up one morning and decide, I want to compete with Uber? You're crazy, man.
So I think it's interesting. So
Yes.
Craft is a B2B provider.
Yeah.
And today, if you always been a B2B provider, but I always wanted that desire to get into the retail mass market where we own the customer. Today on our Craft Silicon platform, if I just aggregate all our customers, my customer's customer, I might be serving about 120 to 130 million customers. But I don't own them. I mean, I have so much information about them. I think I can roll out very interesting products to them. But I can't do that because I don't own them directly. So there was always a desire to start owning the customers.
Okay.
And that's
the end customer.
The end customers, yeah, I own them directly. That was my desire. And so with that in mind, I launched a product for mobile wallet. We named it Elma.
I remember Elma. And I think it was when I had and I started interacting with Elma, I felt that Craft was like, way ahead of its time in its thinking. I mean, this is, you're talking about a wallet, a virtual wallet. At that time, in this part of the world, almost completely unheard of.
So that's where we launched Elma. And what started happening, in two challenges I started facing. One is we didn't really had the retail mass market knowledge. So to promote a retail product, you need a different mindset from promoting a B2B product. That I think we lacked that. So we failed in the execution strategy. The other place which hindered us a lot was we ended up competing with our existing customers. So we, on one side, we are providing a mobile solution to a customer. On the other side, the same solution is competing with our customers. And so it failed miserably.
Conflict.
A conflict of interest, I mean, a conflict of priorities.
Yes.
Customers would feel uncomfortable. So it didn't work out well. But I think the desire to get into the retail mass market was very strong. And so
let's spend a minute or two on the term failed miserably. I mean, this is a product. From outside, it looked like it was working. Even though commercially it may have failed, what were the lessons that you picked from there and then used going forward for your new products and services?
So what I think, the reason from the tech perspective, I think it didn't fail. It was a good technology, stable technology, the UI, UX, and that time was pretty, interesting.
Correct.
But where I think it failed was in terms of we were not able to place the product in the right place. It's like Boeing ends up starting its own airline. They're supposed to sell the aircrafts to an airline company, but they end up starting.
That's a good example. It's a good analogy.
So, but because that desire was there, it always remained in my heart that yes, one day I want to get into the retail mass market.
Okay.
And then, just pop comes in one day, and there is Uber driver striking, complaining, everyone complaining, the media headlines here and there.
Perfect storm.
Yeah, it just comes. And interestingly, I think I've always been very lucky. Just opportunity comes to my door, maybe, and then knocks it, and I just grab it.
This term, very lucky, I hear this a lot with successful entrepreneurs and business people. And it reminds me of, I'm not sure that it was Henry Ford who said, I realized the harder I work, the luckier I get.
Yeah, it's maybe it's a very interesting way to put it.
Yeah, because even if opportunities are there and you're not ready for them.
Right.
So
I think some of these moments I still remember them, all the time. They just get engraved in my head here. So Dr. Bitange Demo.
Yes.
Yeah, he sits on our board.
Yes.
And he was visiting. Yeah, he was visiting one of these days, and we were just generally discussing on this, Uber driver striking, etc. And he says, why don't you start something on ride hailing, and let's compete with these guys and provide a product that is suitable for our country and suitable for the driver, so all these problems that are happening, it does not happen. For a moment, I just say, what is this guy talking about? On one side, I'm doing these banking products, I'm doing fintech products, and he wants to get me into this. But he kept insisting me for a few days.
Wow.
And I kept saying, look, I want to get into the mass market, but this is completely different. I'm completely unknown. Mass market is unknown to me. This technology is unknown to me. But he kept insisting, and then we came to an agreement. He says, let's give it a try.
Okay. How many years ago was that?
7 years now.
7 years now.
7 years. About 7 years back. And then I told him, look, on taking this product to the market, I would have some serious challenge because we failed in the past. We were not able to execute a product properly that was designed for mass market.
Okay.
That's where he said, let me take you to Safaricom. And he just picks up a call and says, Bob, I'm here with Kamal. I'm coming. It was Tuesday. It was Tuesday. He calls and says, "Come." And so we go to see Bob on Friday.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tuesday to Friday.
Tuesday to Friday. So Tuesday he called, then Friday about 11:12 we go to see Bob Collymore. I was meeting for the first time. We have talked to them, interacted, but meeting him was for the first time. And
Okay.
I was really impressed by how he invited me, how he discussed with me.
Mhm.
And so Dr. Bitange demo presents the case. This is what we want to do, and this is how Safaricom can help us. Immediately he just, and we had no product at that time.
Just an idea.
It was just an idea, but to Bob, obviously, I said the product is ready. I even highlighted some of the features that the product would likely to have. And he said, okay, let's do it. How soon can we launch? That's what he asked.
That's bold for you.
So he said,
God bless his
okay,
soul.
yeah, it was some around first week of month. I said, okay, for early next month, we can launch it. So I come back to the office. I pick up the best of the best guy on Craft Silicon, lock ourselves into a room for continuously for like 2 weeks or so. We were in the office.
Wow.
Never went home, nothing. Everything happened in that room.
2 weeks.
Continuously. We were sleeping there in the night, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. We'll go out in the night, mapping how the routes would look like, how it is responding to it. And after 2-3 weeks, we had a product.
You had an MVP.
Yeah, had a product.
That's a minimum viable product.
Yeah. And he even launched it. Then Bob got so excited. He invited everybody. He launched the product. I'm not sure if you were there, but he did a big launch.
Remember.
Yeah,
I remember. I wasn't there, but I remember the launch.
Yeah.
And I remember asking myself, is this a Safaricom product or is this a little, Craft Silicon product? How did you deal with that?
So they were the bigger players. They were like my big brothers, and market. And for me, it was let the market continue having that perception that it's a Safaricom product, because that was giving an advantage to the product itself.
Correct.
And that brand itself helped us a lot. Today I can clearly say, I don't want to hide. I have so much respect for Safaricom.
Yeah.
At that time, if Bob had not given me an opportunity, there would be no Little. So anytime I get that opportunity, I make it, and I thank him. And then the product succeeded well. It has its ups and downs for a while. The
Like
MVP
any
was
new
okay.
product.
MVP was okay, but then when the drivers were ordering, the rides were not coming. There were 2 rides coming to the same drivers. And the mapping had so many challenges. But I have an amazing team. My teams we don't work too much, but when there's work to be done, we can work for 48 hours in a day of 24 hours. Yeah.
Wow. So today, Craft Silicon is operating in several countries. Little is stable. By the way, I must tell you this. I stopped using Uber.
Oh, thank you.
Long time ago.
Thank you.
So for the last
thank you.
For the last 2-3 years, I insist even my people to use Little. They'll tell you, my family and all that, because I firmly believe in supporting our own. And I've seen some subtle, interesting changes that you not find in the other brands. Like, for example, a wallet for drivers, a sacco for drivers. So I can see where you're going with this. Quite interesting integration of financial services, of ride hailing, of food ordering, of financial wellness for your driver partners. So well done. Congratulations.
Thank you, Alina.
So what else? What's going on at Craft and at Little? What more
So Craft,
is going on?
Craft now is a pretty mature company. We are clicking about 1,000 people now. We operate here in Kenya, which is the head office. Still remains the head office. We have 3 offices now in India. 2 in Bangalore, one in Ahmedabad.
3 offices in India.
Yeah.
Wow.
India is actually now bigger than us.
What?
Bigger than us, yeah. The clients, also the population, the clients in India.
It's a billion plus people.
Yeah. My biggest client for Craft Silicon comes out of India.
Okay.
And
What do you provide them?
we provide them co-platforms, so co-banking,
Co-banking.
mobile, and many
Okay.
other things. And they are about 14 to 15 million active customers with about 1,000 plus branches.
With this one
Product,
that's a
And-
third of Kenya's population.
and that's not even the biggest customer for India. I mean, that customer might be a normal size customer, because
Okay.
India customers are big.
Mm.
But now we also have some very interesting customers coming out in Africa. Ethiopia is picking up very well for us, and Ethiopia is just like India, very large. So my customer in Ethiopia is also about 7 to 8 million customer.
That's
product.
a wash
Sade
or
Bank, Sade
Bank.
second largest bank in
Yes,
Ethiopia
okay.
now. It's by customer size, they are the second biggest.
How are you navigating Ethiopia? I think this will be interesting for my audience to hear. I mean, Ethiopia has undergone and continue to undergo challenging political environment. There is, until very recently, floating of the birr and the dollar has been an issue. Repatriating dollars, I think, still continues to be an issue. And then you have the volatility of the birr and the dollar. I read a couple of days ago at Safaricom has seen quite a bit of depression in their earnings because of the exchange evaluations and stuff. How are you navigating that as an entrepreneur?
So Ethiopia for us is an interesting market, and sometimes when there are challenges, it's also a good opportunity. When when maybe several other competitor companies may not want to go to a country because they say they may not be able to get back the money outside that, or maybe there is an exchange problem, regulation problem. It's the right opportunity to you get in there, establish it at a very favorable terms to the customers. So there are countries where we have gone, Ethiopia for example, Zimbabwe for example, where
You're
they
in
are
Zimbabwe.
in a big way also.
Wow.
In a big way. So places where you see the opportunities, you just get in there, start working with the customers in a favorable terms, so that you build the engagement, build the relationship, capture the market. So by the time, I think every country at some point has to challenge, and they would always come out of that challenge. So stand next to a customer in their problems, they will stick to you forever.
Wow.
So Ethiopia that way has worked out very well for us. It's it's possibly the third or fourth largest revenue earner now on the continent for Craft Silicon.
Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Wow. How old are you in Ethiopia?
Ethiopia would be about, again, 6-7 years we have been there.
6-7 years. Okay, great.
So now, for us, I think we always had this, when Craft Silicon started, we were possibly the first company in the country providing financial services, because everything else was coming mostly from outside. Then with time, as the dynamics changed, they went into the mobile. So mobile things were started coming in. We were the first one again when it came to mobile. My first customer using the mobile technology was NCBA. And even till today, they are with us. Okay. So if you look at, I think
most the NCBA app is still powered by Craft.
Powered by Craft Silicon. It's rated one of the best app in the country. If you go to the ratings on the store, it's like 4.8, 4.9, very highly rated. Okay. So we were the first one, and I think we like setting up the trend, and then and we called ourselves as the pioneers. Then came in the apps for super apps.
Yes.
So we came in with Little. Yes. Little is doing pretty well now. We are in 5 countries: Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, and Ghana. We are not funded. Craft not funded. Little not funded. And we are profitable all along.
So let's take that one step. You have not received any funding from any VC from the beginning of your business to today.
That's true.
Not funded. No VC funding, not a single shilling.
No.
And you're kidding me.
That's true. And no debt.
And no debt.
No debt.
How have you done it?
I don't know. I think it just happened. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I like how you're humble.
It
Come
just
on.
happened. Sometimes. Okay, I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. We tried to take funding at some point for Craft Silicon.
And how did that turn out?
So there was one. We got $2 million,
Mhm.
and I gave more than 1/3 of Craft Silicon to them,
Okay,
and I
33% or something.
35%, actually 35, and it was a disaster for us.
Wow.
I think it's not that they were wrong or we were wrong, but it just didn't gel out well. Yeah,
Much.
because we, and that was the time we were launching our mobile products. So
Okay.
our plan and strategy was that let's launch a product like mobile, something that mobile commerce platform, and the revenues will follow in 5, 7, 10 years down the line. Versus the investor was pushing us to continue on the ERP platforms, co-banking platform, because they were quick revenue earners. But I saw that the trend is changing, and I think there was an alignment in the vision. So it didn't really work out well.
So how did you get out of it?
We paid them back.
You paid them
We paid
back.
them back. Yeah, we paid them back. And that's where I also want to acknowledge our customers really helped us a lot. So it came to a point one day after the board meeting is either it is us or them. And then they say, okay, this is the time frame, give us the money back, or then either they buy us out or we buy them out.
Wow, it got to that.
It got to that point. So I pick up my bag again. I go to all my customers. I said, I need this money. Like, we paid whatever they gave us, we gave them something more than that, because we wanted amicable exit.
Yes.
So I went to all the banks and says, I need this money today.
And the banks gave you the money.
3, 4 banks got together. They gave me the money. I gave the money back to them. So
How long did this take?
From the time it became bad,
Yes,
to the time they exited, I think it was 3, 4 weeks. We told them goodbye.
Wow.
3, 4 weeks.
Within a month.
Yeah, less than a month.
So that shows the efficacy of your business model.
I think the relationship really counts, Ali.
Correct.
Relationship do counts. Business. When the customers needed the help, I was standing next to them, and then when I needed the help, customers stand next to me. So I think that business is also. I think it has to be professional, but there is also a soft, soft angle to it, and we believe that we must have that soft angle, soft spot towards it.
So today. Everybody is talking about artificial intelligence, AI this, AI that, until everybody, sometimes you sit back and you're wondering, Kwani, what were we doing before AI? It's almost like the days of the internet. I can tell you, Kamal, as a personal example, I find artificial intelligence, at least in this part of the world, has a very important utility. Personally, as a knowledge worker, artificial intelligence has changed my life. I have been able to, my productivity levels have probably gone up 5x at a minimum because I'm using certain artificial intelligence tools. How is that with a huge organization like Craft Silicon, like Little? How are you navigating the AI? And what's the future? What's now? What's the future?
So, Ali, I mean, as I mentioned, look, we always wanted to pioneer things, So starting from Craft Silicon days, then came in mobile, then came in super apps. I think we have always tried to pioneer something, and in this era of artificial intelligence, I think we still want to continue doing the same. So we have started another company called Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle.
Yeah, Blue Beetle.
Beetle, the ant.
Yeah, normally they are red in color, but we made it blue in color.
Blue Beetle. Yes, okay.
So it's called Blue Beetle, bluebeetle.ai, that's the company. And the plan for this is to explore opportunities into the AI space. And what I think is happening, you see, we have this relationship with our customers. You know, the CEOs are there, the CFOs are there, financial institutions are there with us, and with Little now we have all these corporates with us. By the way, Little is possibly the largest corporate ride-hailing provider in the country, far bigger than anyone else. So we have now the relationship with corporates outside the banking customers. The insurance companies, the FMCG companies, and the others. So we have, and when we talk to all these CEOs around and the senior executives, everyone is talking about AI.
Yes.
Personally, what I think is where CEOs are going wrong in this AI space is they are thinking AI is just another digital transformation. I don't know what are your views, but I think it's not the digital transformation. It's the behavioral transformation. I think people have started behaving. People need to start behaving differently if they want to utilize AI.
I agree with you. Yeah. I love that. So to just rephrase what you've just said, or just repeat what you've just said, AI is not about or part and parcel of digital transformation. That's it might be because it's digital, but it's about behavioral transformation.
Absolutely. How you used to do things.
Could you expound on that a little bit?
So let's say order processing. You were doing an order processing before in a particular manner. By the time the customer places the order, up to the way the order is dispatched.
Yes.
You used to do manually something, then digital came in, and you became a digital transformation that certain things were automated.
Yes.
Now with the behavioral transformation, the way we feel it would happen is a customer is putting an email for the order. He could be putting you a WhatsApp message. He could be making you a phone call. The system is going to capture all that and drive you all the way up to there. So the way you acted on a WhatsApp message and the email to pick up those orders, it's going to change.
Okay.
So I think you need to start behaving in a different fashion. And we saw that as a gap here, because everybody we are talking to, they are clubbing digital transformation and AI transformation, and everyone wants to do something. They are not sure what they want to do.
Correct.
Everybody, today you walk into, if you want to get a meeting with any CEO, he is not giving you the CEO. Just tell him, I have an artificial intelligent product. I have very interesting one. You'll get a phone call from the team and says, come and see us. So that opportunity for us, I think we want to drive into that opportunity. As I said, craft is mature. It doesn't need me day to day. Little is now in the same phase. It's pretty mature. It doesn't need me day to day.
So what's your new title?
My new title. I love that title.
Tell me about that.
It's
and how does that plug into Beetle?
Head of Product Dreams and Innovation. Head of Product Dreams and Innovation.
Yeah, so my job is just to keep
dream and say, what products can come out. So that's how we started Blue Beetle. We don't know what products will come out of that one. We are trying out several things from there, and I think now it's able to take shape. So we found.
How big is your team at
Blue Beetle? So it's me, and I have another 3 people. It's a very small team.
So you're just dreaming up stuff, right?
Yeah, and I think the way every time it has worked for us is we are not because we are not funded. We have an advantage. We can do whatever we want. We are not answerable to somebody.
You're answerable to yourselves.
Answerable to ourselves. So we, anytime we see such an opportunity, I pick up some people from Craft Silicon, pick up some people from there, take them in the room, and then continue nurturing them. And if it succeeds out, and if the product works out well, then we spin off as a separate company. So Little started like that. Blue Beetle started like that. So we are still in that incubation stage. There are 2-3 other products from Craft Silicon which are also getting incubated. And hopefully they will also spin out as separate companies. But on Blue Beetle, so we launched a product called Smalltalk, coming out from Blue Beetle.
Smalltalk.
Smalltalk. So what Smalltalk? It's like
You seem to like this small.
I don't know why.
Little.
Small little. Maybe the small things in life matters a lot.
They do actually.
They matter a
Absolutely,
lot.
they do. That one I can tell you.
So the Smalltalk came is the first product that we are trying to pilot it out. And
Okay.
what Smalltalk is, it's like in a very layman's word, I can say it's a chat GPT, but only for your organization. So
Expound on that.
So for example, let's take NCB as an example.
Correct.
Because it just came to my NCB
Yes.
or Hotpoint or somebody. Now they have so much knowledge in their corporate, so much knowledge, and this knowledge is unknown to, let's say, large language models like ChatGPT. So if
That's
I go
correct.
to ChatGPT and ask, tell me how Hotpoint can do better things, it can't answer.
It can't because it doesn't have that access
It
to
doesn't
that
have
data.
access to that knowledge.
So I think one of the things that we need to maybe talk a little bit more about here is the foundational issues around artificial intelligence, because everyone seems to think that this is something that is up in there. Like people think cloud computing is up in there, but most guys who are not in the tech ecosystem may not truly understand how ground level stuff, as I love to say, vitukwa ground, the huge servers, the huge internet pipes that plug into these data centers are the ones that make cloud computing be cloud computing. So let's talk about those foundational issues around AI first. Then we move forward on Smalltalk.
So those, you are more expert than me in those foundational issues. I'm more of a first layer onwards guy.
Okay.
But the difficulty that large language models would have, even now and moving forward as well, is inability to query or store the corporate data, corporate knowledge. So as I said, if I walk into NCBA, there's so much information sitting inside NCBA. They would not like to expose that to large language models because it's a proprietary information. It's an information and a knowledge that is helping them to drive. They would not like to make it public, for example. But they still want to take the benefit of language models, benefit of artificial intelligence. So what Smalltalk is doing through Blue Beetle as a company is now going to create a chat GPT based on your private data.
So closed loop.
Yes. On premise, it could be on premise.
Yes.
On premise large.
Or within their virtual private
or within their private cloud or within their cloud. And then these are not large language models, but these are small language models. So their knowledge base of the small language model is only limited to what was given to them, let's say, by the corporate.
Okay.
And we already have some customers on it now. So we are piloting with 3 or 4 of these customers. This would be large banks. This would be.
So these are customers you already have. You're going. So the advantage of the craft silicon ecosystem is coming into play.
Absolutely. So that's what we are currently working on, and because business intelligence, artificial intelligence is the new BI. AI is the 100%. New BI. And so way I foresee is even on a co-banking system, we are now putting up the small language models integrating in such a way. For example, if you go to your co-banking system, you open up your a customer's account.
Yes.
And you want to see how this customer is performing. You don't need to go and press button there, do that. Just open up a chat window.
Yes.
Ask just like, tell me, when was the last credit to this account? What is the turnover? How the customer is performing and all that. And the language model will understand the data and give it out to you. You don't need to, I think access to the data has to be smoother. You don't have to go and get a report, print it out, analyze, export to Excel.
No.
That's where
fully automated.
That's where
I love
Digital
that.
transformation and behavioral transformation.
Behavioral transformation.
Yes, that's the difference now.
You know, I am somebody who is already so deep into the usage of some of these applications that I'm excited to just hear, because I've seen how that has transformed how I work. And to just start thinking about how Smalltalk can change behaviors within an organization is going to be super interesting. What else is Smalltalk doing? Blue Beetle doing?
So two things. One is using small language model, get access to the information in a more smoother way. That's one on your corporate data. The
Yes.
other one is we are working on improving the efficiencies of your operation. So by bringing in the behavioral change at putting up AI at all the levels. So these are the two things that we are doing. But the Smalltalk on the small language model is the first product which is already now out. So will be focusing on that. I want to.
So you're already piloting this with
Yes.
3 big banks.
So one is a bank, one is a large FMCG. So we are two companies that we have, and internally Craft Silicon. We are also trying out.
Of course,
And
you must.
Yeah, the product must be tried and tested in the corporate itself. So, so yeah, that's what we are doing, and I think we want to be on forefront of that. The challenge we are facing, Mr. Ali, is getting the right talent. It is.
What sort of talent are you looking for? Are you speaking now about Blue Beetle, or are you speaking about
Blue Beetle
in general?
In general, I think we are okay.
You're
In general,
okay.
I think Kenya
So
is
Blue
pretty
Beetle.
okay. But artificial intelligence, I think we still see a gap there.
Okay.
Today, in terms of Craft Silicon and companies like Craft Silicon, I don't see would find a challenge in getting the right talent.
Okay.
Even in little, you might not see the because I think the technologies around there are pretty mature, has been there for a pretty long time. But technology like artificial intelligence, it's so much of trial error, so much of learning, because everyone is learning at the same level. 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line, nobody had. Now everybody is learning. So I am a learner. The guy next to me is a learner. The best of the best tech guy is still learning AI. So everyone is learning, and now whoever learns faster, whoever reduces the speed of learning would be now on the top.
So this is where you're talking about behavioral change.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Behavioral transformation. So let's drill down to the sort of talent you're looking for at Blue Beetle.
Somebody has to be experienced in terms of looking into the future. Looking into the future. So the person needs
to, like you, basically, a dreamer.
A dreamer. He has to be a dreamer, because everything that you need to do, you need to see what people would be doing in a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line. Yes. That's one. The other one, he needs to have some basic fundamentals, right, on how the transformers, artificial intelligence components to work with each other. That's one. Second, and the third one, he also needs to be committed. And the reason I say committed is these are not short-term products, not short-term projects. You don't come in, work for 3, 4, 5, 6 months.
There's no instant gratification here. So you've got to look, your window has to be 5 years and beyond.
Yeah. So this, so I think getting all the 3 components right in one person is very difficult. So some places we are picking up the talent only. Some people we are just picking up the dreamers. Some people we are going back to India and trying to get some talent and expertise from there.
How about universities locally and in India?
So
and
here,
in any other countries that you're working
with? On Blue Beetle, I think that's what we are doing. We are getting some good students straight from the universities. Okay. Strathmore is one of them. JQuat is a good place to get these talents. So we have that. The problem, as I said, when you want to roll out enterprise products, you want to roll out a product for your project, it's okay. But when you want to start rolling out an enterprise products,
Yes.
you need somebody, you need the junior blocks, but you
Yes.
also need some seasoned guys.
Seasoned guys.
But yeah, we'll make it, Ali. We will make it. We
I'm
can't
sure
give
you
up.
will.
We can't give up.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
A year down the line, 2 years down the line, I would like to come back in this show and tell you, look, we said we did it, and here it is.
We shall make a date. In fact, I shall ask my executive producer Imran to put it on his calendar.
Okay.
And we touch base maybe 11 months from now, so that we can have another sit down like this. So I'm really curious about Blue Beetle. What else can you tell me? How is it funded? Is it, I sit on the board of an organization that is starting to start thinking about how do we fund new initiatives? What are the timelines? Is it open-ended? Do we have to? Can we say you have X amount and X amount of runway? How are you thinking about this? Or is it for now, because it's all blue skying and all sort of dream-driven, is it open-ended?
The best thing about us as a group is that we are not pressurized. Sometimes you are pressurized to deliver. You may not deliver the right product, or you may deliver something half-baked something. So we are not under the pressure, because we are a profitable company. Craft is able to fund us as long as it's required. So we are not under the pressure to deliver within a time frame. But we are also cognizant that we want to deliver. So we don't want to be an open-ended. And I would say, Blue Beetle, by the time the company started somewhere in this year, in the end of first quarter.
So it's hardly a year.
It's about 8-9 months, and we already have a product. So I'm pretty confident, in our technical capabilities. Yeah, pretty confident in the support that we would get from the existing relationship that we have through Craft and through Little, and also friends like you and the others.
Yes.
So the use cases are many, for Little, and it will, just the way Little took us out of the financial sector. Correct. Now today we have several other engagement with different verticals. Blue Beetle will even be more than that. For example, the use case on, I was sitting with one of my friend who works at Kafur. And when I was discussing Smalltalk with him, I says, can somebody just, when I walk into Kafur and I don't know where a particular item is, I need to ask somebody. What if I map the whole layout of Kafur, and then I just go to Smalltalk and says, I need to buy I don't know, some item. I just go to shelf number so and so, and I get it there.
That is, let me tell you, you have sort of touched something that is very close to my heart. Shopping. As busy as I am, I love to do the shopping in my household, because that's the point where I get to understand how things are in the economy. How much is a shopping basket this week as compared to the week before, as compared to the next week. But one of my biggest peeves with supermarkets today is that more often than not, you not get everything that you want. Today it's there, tomorrow it's not there. The guys on the shop floor, they'll tell you, oh, it's out of order. It's out of stock. I'm like, go inside the store and check whether it's there. So more often than not, it will be there, but it's not in the shelf. So how do you see Smalltalk helping with that kind of thing?
So what I think the goal that we want to achieve in Blue Beetle via a product like Smalltalk is start embedding generative AI using small language models at every possible places. Kafur is, supermarket is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I need to apply for visa.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to go through website, look for all these things. I just ask a simple question. I get that answer. I want to book a ticket, and I ask, or I ask anything about the product. I have some allergies, and I say I have this allergy. Should I take that product? Every single small little things that you will be doing in your life, I think we want that to be delivered through a platform like Smalltalk.
Okay.
That's my vision. That's my dream. And that anybody would just open up Smalltalk and says, okay, this is what I want to do. Ask a question on that particular topic, and then we will go to that corporate, whoever has the source of that information, and just pick it up from there. So it's not like Chat GPT, which is just open and general, but
Yes.
here
This is
the
closed.
corporates would come to you, will go through the knowledge base of that corporate, will create the vector databases for that, embed it on a small on an open source model like Llama and the others, and then expose it to an end consumer with a product like Smalltalk. So that's the dream that I have for Smalltalk.
So I'm just loving this conversation. I think I'm geeking out a bit, in terms of using proprietary technology, then plugging them into open source technologies like Llama, and using small language talk. I mean, I think you and I can go on and on this conversation.
And I'm so excited. So now my full focus is on Blue Beetle. Obviously, I have to take care of Craft and Little. They are my babies as well. But yeah, as much as more time I get, I am focusing on Blue Beetle.
Yeah, but you have a super competent team.
Yes.
At Little level, at Craft Silicon level. So I'm loving the fact that you are slowly getting yourself out of these day-to-day operations of this monster you built called Craft Silicon. I mean, we can't call it Little anymore, even if you wanted to, because we know how you've grown.
But on that, Mr. Ali, advise me, am I on the right track, which is one? Such a product like this is what, sometimes us as entrepreneurs, we may not have the right product fitment, but just because we feel it's a good product, we get in there. So, a product like that, do you think it has a future?
I think it has legs, as we love to say. It has legs. But I think more important for me is how you've structured it. How you've structured it without the corporate pressure, although you are a corporate, without the corporate pressure. But I think the more important thing is you already have a customer or customers who are already starting to test this thing. One of the most critical things going forward for organizations, my belief, is co-creation with your customers. And you're already doing that. You're already doing that with Blue Beetle. And I'm sure even with Little, I know you listen a lot. You are probably one of the few CEOs I know in the region that is quite active on social media platform. LinkedIn, for example. You are engaging, you are putting out your ideas out there, and you're open to having conversations with people. The thing that I want to say is simply that thing you've talked about, behavioral transformation, that is already something, seems like that's already embedded in you. And ultimately, as the English love to say, the proof of the pudding is in the eating.
That's true.
So Kamal, we seem to be coming to a close of this super interesting conversation. I can see my producer is already telling me this and that. But I think I would like us to close with, how do you see the future for Craft, for Little, for Blue Beetle, and for the other incubatees that you are driving? How do you see the future from a macro and a micro perspective? Africa, Kenya, and India. I love the fact that you are traversing and your business is in the right places. How do you see the future?
For me, I think the future has always been bright.
Okay.
Always been bright, and lot of opportunities are there. Put yourself in the right place. Try to do the right thing. And yeah, the success would just come in. Be committed. Short-term gains are very difficult, and they are not sustainable. You might.
So how do you balance that long-term, mid-term, and short-term? Because ultimately, people still have to eat. People have to be paid, and you still have to look at the future.
I have always personally believed in sustainable growth.
Okay.
You grow that you can sustain. If you grow too fast, you could fall apart.
Correct.
If you grow too slow, it becomes you die again.
Correct.
So balance it out in such a way and sustain it out. Because if you can't sustain, the growth you'll be in a limelight for a year, because when you are growing like this,
correct, and
market falls, and the market would remember everything. They don't forget.
Kamal, thank you so much. I want to thank you for spending this morning with us. And to thank my, as always, my listeners, the people who watch our YouTube channel, our Spotify channel, and so on. We'll keep on bringing you great conversations across Africa. Our focus is to tell the Pan-African story, focused on tech. Kamal, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Asante
Appreciate
sana.
it.
Cheers.